guys, well, we are streaming again today, the 11th of April. Let's see on the right side if things are working here. Let me check. Of course, I need to mute the microphone here, or the speaker on the laptop. Then I can see the chat room also. I'm playing a bit with Predator 2. A nice lead sound. Let's see if the stream is working. Okay. Yes, it's here. Okay, today I have not a special thing in mind, so you could ask questions today, and we go from the one thing to another. Okay, I'm gonna say hello in the chat room, and I hope all is working. Okay, I can see we have Predator visual. It's a bit strange because what I see on the laptop is different from the screen here, which is odd. That looks a bit smaller on the screens in the stream. So let's see if I can fix that. Let me see. So okay, let me see if I can make it a bit bigger. I need to check on the right side if everything looks better. Yeah, it's a bit strange with this streaming software. I have this open, but it not always reflects what you see, so it's a bit annoying. But anyhow, we have now Predator visible, and so I was playing this lead sound. And it's a bit different made than maybe you would think, because what happens in this patch, which it's called Space Guitar, it has a lot of FX on board. You see on the right side we have the FX section, and if I mute that, you're gonna hear that it's very dry. But no distortion used in the FX itself. The tricks is in FM or phase modulation. Essentially, the waveform is oscillator 3, which is a square. And then we have oscillator 2, which modulates oscillator 3. And it's even so the case that oscillator 1 modulates oscillator 2. So T2 modulates oscillator 3. So here you see phase modulation 2. So oscillator 2 modulates oscillator 3. And oscillator 1 again modulates oscillator 1. And then the trick is that the so let's shut that down. Let me play it dry. So the other trick is that you see this oscillator 2 doesn't go to the filters, but only modulates here oscillator 3. So I can shut it down here a bit. And now you hear this modulation, but this modulation is not continuously, because I use down here in the modulation section an envelope, and most likely it's envelope 2. You see envelope 2 modulates, changes the volume of oscillator 2. So the oscillator 2 is not continuously modulating, but only a given time. So therefore it ends in this square wave, which sounds like a fuzzy sound. And then oscillator 1 also, see, that's more for the attack. So you see oscillator 1 also doesn't go to the filter, but yeah, this is essentially a 3-operator FM synthesizer, what I'm doing here, to create this synth sound. And with FM synthesis, each oscillator or operator has its own envelope, And what I do down here is using the free envelopes which are down here. I use the free envelopes to modulate the volume. So the oscillator 1 and oscillator 2 each have their own volume envelope, and with that I can create this sound. So when I go back to oscillator 1, use this envelope 1. So, and then of course with a nice reverb and of delay, I believe a delay is used, a bit of chorus and a stereo delay is used. So essentially, looking here, there's no distortion used at all. This is pure FM synthesis. Okay, so that's a little bit of introduction. What I did now was Predator 2 as a warming up, and of course many people know Predator 2. It's a very deep synthesizer. It became a very deep synthesizer. The original Predator was not that deep, although it has some very neat tricks and some very cool features. But yeah, with Predator 2, it has so many things on board. It's really a very deep modular synthesizer. I have to wear my glasses because I have a very long day, and then at the end of the day my eyesight is a bit going down. Okay, yeah, about the arranging the presets in categories. Well, we have this bank manager, and you could use here search category, and if you click on bass, all the basses which are inside Predator 2 pop up. So you see here, down here, I can scroll to the right, so there's a lot of basses inside of it. So if I click here on this one, it would show in which bank it is. Let me see, it should appear in the right side here. Here it is, drum and bass session. Originally with the Predator 2, and I believe also with Blue, we had banks in terms of styles. So here we had all basses, 1, 2, 3, 4, all SFX. But when you have, of course, an artist who's doing one bank, this bank can have FX or whatever combined. So that's very hard to keep then track of everything. And I think so with this search category in the bank manager, I think if you want to use, try out all the basses and give it a try. If you think, okay, this is a nice one, you can go to this bank, go here to the preset manager and give it a star. So yeah, there is one video which I advise everybody to watch it. It's only maybe 6 minutes. It's about the bank manager and presets. It's inside the Predator 2 playlist. If you have Vecto, it's in that playlist. If you have Go2, all the most recent products, what we have uses this system. So we started this with Predator 2, but then we had Raw Kick, we had Vecto, we had Go2. And and in future updates, for instance, if we would create Blue 3, this would have the same system. So check this video. It's really, especially if you want to save time, because yeah, you see here on the right side all the banks. For instance, these banks which start with 0 are now the Predator 2 presets, so the new presets. So here we have a head sound. It's a nice preset, by the way. And so if we go to the manager and on the right side, so everything which starts with the 0 is new presets. Then if you see 101 introduction, this is the original Predator 1.6 sound introduction bank. So everything which starts with the number 1 at the right side, that is down here, that is the Predator 1.6 sound. So here it's a pipe sound. Of course, all the presets in Predator 2 which use, for instance, reverb, sound better because we have improved the reverb code. Not that the reverb code was bad in Predator 1.6, but the one in Predator 2 is really top-notch. So here you can find all the original Predator 1.6 presets. So here, classic synths, trance and psytrance sound, a little sequence sounds, and down here is a slider, so if it goes beyond a certain range of presets, you hear stereo sound. If you put that with drums, you have a I was playing in the wrong key. It's G. So this is inside the bank manager. So you see a lot of presets inside of it. You can see down here hardstyle bass drum, basses. Of course, we have now raw kick for these kind of stuff. So also bass drums can be made. A dubstep bank. There's so much inside of it. It's I think we hit all around 6,000 presets with Predator. You see, there's also a original Junkie XL preset bank inside in Predator. It was originally also in Predator 1.6. So it's really really clever to watch this this tutorial about the preset and bank manager. So if you go to the YouTube channel, you have this playlist, because if you go to videos, you see all the videos which are in the YouTube channel. But if you pick playlist, you have really a playlist for Predator 2, a playlist for Blade, a playlist for RP Reverse, which we released last week, a playlist for Submoon Bass 2, and of course a playlist of the live streams, which after the live stream they are always in this folder. So if you want to spend some time and check 1 hour of me freaking around with plugins or explaining it, yeah, there you can check quite some videos now. Okay, so I'm gonna check now in the chat room. Anybody has maybe a question about something? So if I can answer that, I'm of course willing to do that. And so ask me a question so I can dive into it, maybe about a product. Okay, I'm gonna see down here this question. Punch bass drum. Okay. Punch bass drum. Okay, let's fire up punch bass drum. Of course, I had add track instrument and select punch. Here it is. Okay, the question, I read it again. In Punch Bass Drum 1/4 FX section, can you please explain how the controls work and the modulation wheel to set the kick on journey through the filter? Okay. Okay, so here we have the 4FX. This is a kick. Okay, I would pick then here a filter as a example, filter. So I pick here a type. You see in the upper section here is the readout. So there I need to look, and I can say 12 dB low pass filter and frequency. I open it, and this you want to control with a modulation wheel. Then I should go to the modulation matrix, and then in this section, which are then the 8 slots you can use. So the source would be modulation wheel, and the destination global, and they are not there. Ah, that's a good one. It seems that we cannot control, that we did not add them yet. This should be something for an update. So that's a very good point. With all our other plugins, most recent ones, you also can change the FX, but for a reason, we did not do this inside Punch Bass Drum. So this is something for an update. So I'm very sorry, this is not possible currently. There would be maybe another workaround. Let's see if that works. If I go here and pick the frequency, and I set latch to MIDI, and I can latch to MIDI, and then you see now I can control it with the modulation wheel. So of course I need to see that the bass drum, this pad, here it is, needs to go not to the dry out but FX1. Now it goes to the filter, open, close filter. Of course this is a let's see if I can have a normal bass drum. Okay, sample, no, drum. Don't have a sound. Okay, default preset. Okay, now I pick a bass drum. No. Let's take a real one. So the filter is closed. So the way you can do it, if you want an FX1 a filter and you want to control it with modulation wheel, you can do it by MIDI latching. So go over the frequency after you pick the filter type, and see it responds now to MIDI controller 1. You can clear it again. You say clear all MIDI, then it clears it all. So then nothing happens if I change the modulation wheel. It's a bit not fully in screen. My screen layout is not very good today, guys. I'm sorry about that. So I need to move the webcam a bit. Okay, so here's the modulation wheel. You can see it, yeah. Should be visible now. Yes, okay. Let's put them back here. So again, I go here to the upper right, I pick FX1 filter. I pick the first pad, also FX1 output. So it goes into this filter frequency, and then latch to MIDI. I move the modulation wheel, and then it's latched. And then of course it's closed, Okay, so I hope this answers it a bit, but that's something we need to adjust, of course, to that we add the FX section also to the modulation matrix. Okay, so I hope this answers the question a bit. Oh, can you hear my voice, guys? Because let me check here. Check, yeah. You should be able to hear me. Okay, everything normal. Okay, guys, drop a question. I hope this answers a bit about punch bass drum. Punch bass drum is much more sweeter than the raw kick. Raw kick is really very aggressive, focusing on the distorted music styles. Here you have also other things that pop up. We see for hip hop tuned hip hop basses and very odd stuff. So combinations of say a conga combined, distorted hip hop. Oh yeah, somebody here. That could be a mono issue. Phase. So if you don't hear the sound, this is very stereo. Should hear left, right. So this is a combination. So punch bass drum, you can use 6 in total, stack 6 bass drum. Of course, it doesn't have to be bass drums. You also can do other stuff. This is a timpani combined with a so very cool. It's you have the Crick Browse, some preset. Rob Fabry is more the distorted stuff. Acoustic is more the acoustic bass drums. Okay, the source and destinations, where do they lead? Oh, in this yeah, in the modulation matrix in punch bass drum. Yeah, it's up where you want to have it. So if I have this kick now, I can go to the modulation matrix. You can select it here, and this is essentially the source can be anything. So you can say, pick for instance the modulation wheel again, and the destination could be from punch bass drum 1, which I the first pad. I could say change the pitch of it, so then you have a certain amount. So now, so essentially this modulation matrix is patching. You pick one source and you stick it in a destination, and this way you can change it. So I have modulation wheel, but also could use velocity. Now the velocity changes the pitch of the first bass drum. See, destination, bass drum pitch. That's what you do with a modulation matrix. This is coming over from the synthesizers, of course, which have modulation matrix. Okay. Can do some cool stuff with that, of course. If this first one is punch 9, but you also, if it would be a timpani, that would be interesting. Let's see if we can pick a sample. Here are a range of samples on board, which you also can use. Let's see what is inside of it. A lot of sounds, but I cannot find easily the timpani. It should be in, maybe in the bass drums. Not really. It should be somewhere inside of it. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff inside of it. Udo. Okay, when I go back to the modulation matrix, bass drum 1, pitch. Okay, I need to pick another destination. Sample pitch, of course. Where is it? Here, sample pitch. Yeah, then we have, of course, this easy page. Somebody did mention the easy page. So when I go back to the original preset or one of another. So this is a preset, then there's the easy page. Easy page makes that you can make the sound different depending on the FX used and how much features are used. You could easy edit essentially the presets. Let's go to a more, this is also a bank manager here, hip hop 1. So I pick another one. So that's one very deep, and then you could change the pitch also here. If you click on this dot here, it goes back to the middle. So it's more like fast changing the sound. And that's the case, of course, depending how much parameters are used, if things here respond to it. So what you could do, you could also record it. So if you would record here with the parameter recording, you could record this. So of course not very nice timed, let's quantize, but then you could hear that it records. So this is very interesting to do some dynamic changes in the sound. Okay. Well, there's no bad question, so don't bother if you ask things again. Therefore, I'm here, of course. And today it's about questions. So if you have a question about a particular product, just ask me and I check it in. So this is the punch bass drum. Of course, what you hear now is also punch itself. And this one is now in the so where it pops up now, there it is. And of course this is in the Anker S setup. So if you have this keyboard, you can easily change the parameters here. So for instance, in punch we added a nice range of parameters. Yeah, you can also import your own samples in Rawkick, and also in Punch. Here you see Punch. Here you have the sample page, and maybe I should go back to Rawkick to show you. So let's go to the Bank Manager, Introduction. Let's see if I somewhere a default preset. Not really. Okay. So here you have the easy page, pads, mixer, modulation FX. This is this. And if you go to pads, you have down here the pads, and there you select what it should do. It should be a drum model, which is a model or the built-in samples, or you use it as a sample. So bass drum 1. And what we add is here a whole range of own samples. So here, if you go to bass drum 1, you can open it, double click, and you have, and by the way, if you use the right mouse button, you can audition it. So when I double click, it loads, and this is sample A. So you can, with the basic setup, so best is to pick here a default preset for this pad sound. So now it's empty again. You see sample A, and then I could pick here one sample. Now, and we added here also user. And here you could drag and drop your, double click, here you could drag and drop your own. So this is one is empty. Here you could drop, for instance, your own sample. So, and the cool other thing is about it, so it's pretty deep. So if you go here to, so these are the users for your own samples. Of course, you also can open the browser, open Explorer or Finder, which is the case with Mac. You can see here the folder where all these samples are installed. And also you could drop them inside here. It's up to you. You also could use the user interface of Punch itself. So okay. So if I pick here one bass drum, so I could, you see this is sample A, but I can use two samples. So I could say sample B, and added sample B, so I pick here sample B, which is electronic bass drum. So A is the other one, and I could play then, for instance, and mix. Left is this sample A, and B is this electronic one. So inside each pad you already can stack two bass drums together and do some weird stuff here. But to add it or select a sample, you need to go here. So so here you could mix. For instance, if you want to edit this electronic one, you can change here the pitch. So make your own personal kicks. And of course you can save then this preset, save it as a single preset. The original Punch bank is a construction of 32 presets. So a bank is a bit different from what we have in the newest system. Punch bass drum, also Punch uses the older bank system, and a bank can have a max of 128 presets. In case of Punch, the bank has 32 presets. So if you made a nice sound, best thing you can do is save preset, then it saves it as a single preset, and you say, oh, my own kick, and you see up here where it is installed. It's in the bass drum, Punch bass drum folder presets, and so you always can load it back in a different song. Okay, so that from perspective from loading your own samples into Punch bass drum, it's pretty sophisticated, so you need to spend some time with it to learn it all. You see, you have all kind of parameters on board to change, and it's far more than just playing the sample. You can do some weird stuff with it, and which of course reflects also in the presets. Special one-tuned noise with here you see 3 bass drum used. Even the sequence, you can play it sequence. Very deep stuff possible. You see here pad 2, here you can play it solo. It's using a metal sound, but there's also some detuning down here, sample A of course. So yeah, it's a very deep machine, and of course we add a nice range of very cool presets inside of it. So if you like a low rumble. Okay, somebody is asking about if all our instruments are Anchor S ready. Yes, all of them except for Prisma. So see here, when I go back to Punch. Okay, now let's do it in a different way. Add track, instrument. I pick here complete control. Okay, no, okay, here's complete control. Let's see here, you see Punch bass drum, raw kick is compatible. And if you go down, okay, you need to use this slider here. You see RG, and then you get the synthesized Bluetooth, Blade, and most recently is Vecto. Vecto is now also compatible. So here it is. And what we did here is here nice layout. You see the XY you can control from here, but also the amplifier. On the main page you see the first 4 dials on the right side here, the amp, attack, decay, sustain and release. Okay, now I'm checking the chat room again. Notice an issue with the filter distortion. The latest version of Predator 2, not always recording once tweaking. Not really. Maybe the best thing you can do is maybe send us an email with this particular preset. Okay, when I go, sorry, of course I can open here also Predator 2. Down here. Predator 2 is of course also Anchor as. So what you mean is here in this distortion module on the right side here. Okay, the best thing is to drop us a note so that we can check this out. Maybe it's a bug, you never know. But we had no other users mention this about the distortion inside inside Predator 2. Okay, I see another name popping up. Can you add snare hi-hats to Jerome Reaver? I guess you mean to punch bass drum. Yeah, we have, of course. So if I pick here number 3, also they put pad 3 on. I put sample, for instance. That would be possible, sure. I mute these, then I go to this pad here. There's nothing playing, sample A. I need to pick sample A to edit it. And there, of course, I can pick also a clap. Double click. And combine that together with the kicks inside of it. So now this kick. Up to you. So there's a lot of samples already installed. So if you want to have a hi-hat added to this kick or whatever, can make some weird noises with that. Finger snap. And you see this finger snap has a kind of double, because originally it's this. But what I like, if you detune stuff, you get some very weird sounds sometimes. But then you have this double click. And so what we added here, if you go to the play mode sample A, so sample A, it's only using sample A, you can use sample offset. So make this double clicking disappear, and then you can. So you really have some nice features. You can give it a pitch envelope, which is down here. Let's see if. So you can make really some very odd. So bass drum 3 is this finger snap, which is originally, of course, a very different sound. Let's play it again. Let's try to get it normal again. So it's normally, it will be this sound. So going back to the question, yeah, you can add it also with claps, hi-hats, or your own samples. But as mentioned, we have a lot of samples already on board in Punch Bass Drum. Okay, somebody. Yeah, Vector is not that long out. Vector is a very nice synthesizer. And it's originally, it was made for the Reason platform, and we had quite some questions and requests of people. Well, Rob, could you not make this one also a VST? And that's what we did a couple of weeks ago released. It's a very nice machine in terms of synthesis. Everything is in front. It combines sample together with waveforms to very nice filters on board, so you can do some very different type of sound. So for instance, one of the recent sounds is D March, which I created doing a live stream. So here it uses a FX16, which is a percussion sample, kind of metal thing. And this is combined with oscillator 2 and 3, I guess it was. Yeah, click original. And these are the traditional synthesizer waveforms. And then you get really some very interesting sound combinations. So people reminds it really on the Roland D50 or the Waystation, although it has 0 samples on board of these machines, because that's not my thing to do. All are new samples, of course, but it has the same vibe, if you understand what I mean with that. So the same feel to it. Okay, somebody's the other questions is a drum editor idea inside Prisma type of thing. Yeah, that will be pretty complex, I think. What would be nice inside Prisma would be an XY patch, so that you can go from one layer to another. That is something which we are planning somewhere in the future. No, yeah, currently we don't have a beta version of Blade 2. That's really planned for the end of this year. So we will have, if all goes well, at the end of May, a new synthesizer. And then we work on the Blade 2 update with some very new stuff inside of it, also quite experimental, but it can do some very interesting sounds. And the plan is to work on Punch 2, and of course that's quite some work. So in the summer we will be very, very busy. But ahead of the summer, guys, there will be a very nice surprise, a very nice new synthesizer, which will be part of the Explore 5 bundle. Okay, and this one, yeah, this is the last edition, originally made for the Reason platform, and you see here it has the XY. You can record it. In the last update we added some presets from, oh no, they are going to be in the next update from JX3D. So I played them last week already. They will be in the very soon available for other people as a download. Some very experimenting moving sounds. This is one of my favorites. This one it was here. Yeah, can you tell more about this new synthesizer? Well, actually, I'm having the glasses on because I was the whole day working on the user interface and to play things on a nice spot. Yeah, it's something people would maybe not think about, that Rob would do a thing like that. But yeah, I discussed this with John. We tweaked around and worked on this idea, and it sounded so nice that I thought, yeah, whatever everybody says, that I'm releasing this type of synthesizer, but it's mainly because of the sound, and that we release it, and it's really very smooth in sound. It's not as renewal like a Vecto or Blade, or I mean Bluetooth, which is really seeking new directions. I mean, normally the Rob Papman brand is really seeking new directions. And this other synthesizer, yeah, that's going to be different. And of course, we had last year Go 2, which was also, of course, in terms of the way it's built up, also pretty different. And that's, of course always my aim to create synthesizers which are not done already. So yeah, our Effecto has an amazing sound. What we also did, because that we also updated the recent version with the reverb, because we added the a bit better quality in terms of the reverb, because that's really an essential part of this of the sound. So if you take, let's see where we are now. Let's see, I need to go. So this is a very old style sound, although it's a bit like an emulator. That's why I call it emulator. It's but you hear this reverb is so nice. I put it off now. Down you have the dry sound, which is also great. It's very swirly sound, but if you add down the reverb a bit, it really gets really very nice. Of course, I could add it even more, but then it would be maybe too much. So it's a vocal type sound, which, by the way, are all own material. So it's not sampled from any other machine or whatever. It's all own material. The same, for instance, for the pan flutes, which are, I think, somewhere here. It's done by an artist here from local area. He played, has a very nice sounding pan flute, and I took him in the studio and yeah, sampled it. And you can see the reverb really has its points. Let's go spacey, a bit more and even more length, so that's really spacey. You see very dense, nice reverb. The problem in general in a synthesizer, the delays or chorus normally always sound good, but reverb is a very delicate code, and if the reverb sounds bad, the whole sound goes dead. So you better then avoid it. So this is the Bank Manager, what I told earlier in the live stream. This Bank Manager is the same what we use in Predator 2. So if you think, oh, this is a nice sound, you can give it a star. So indeed, the advantage of Effecto is that everything is up front and you can do a lot of sounds. It is not as deep as Bluetooth, but sometimes you don't need that for making some great sounds. And of course, the let's see, this one is the movement here of the XY is of course adding its own juice to it. Yeah, some Blade Runner sounds are more like this here, but this one is with choir, sorry. And what I like is we have a very good filters on board, the high quality waveforms. So this is only the SAW waveform. Yeah, this is originally made for Reason. So it first was for Reason, and then people asked if we could make it also a VST. So originally this was for Reason. Therefore, you see also this modulation wheel and pitch bend, which we normally don't do inside our user interface. So this is really, of course, a bit different. Okay, I can show you, let's see, the Reason version. Facto. So here's the Reason version. You see, that's a bit different. Different dials, different buttons, which are the standard thing inside our Reason. So you see, this is really a rec format. So it looks a bit different, and we changed it a bit for the VST. It's a bit wider, but has the same things on board. Okay. Yeah, especially people who like synthesizer sounds or ambient music. There's some very nice pad sounds on board. Let me play this one. Yeah, there's so much to discover inside of it. It's a very, very, very deep synthesizer. Okay, let's see. We have about 8 minutes left. Maybe somebody has a question about another product, or maybe Facto, or maybe again Punch. Just let me know. And of course, if you did miss this live stream, you always can watch it back in the playlist live stream. Sorry, messing up here. So in YouTube, there's this playlist live stream. There are many live streams. Maybe I should make a best of. We had one live stream about the string model inside Sublime Bass 2. This one live stream, the early one, I made a pad sound, how to make a pad sound in Blue 2. I talk about the sequencer of Predator 2 and the user waves of Predator 2. So there's some interesting things you always can watch back. Okay, I'm checking here on the right side. Any new FX in the pipeline? Yeah, Upper Reverse, it really took off. It's of course a pretty new idea what we had, and for the people who don't know it, it's released about 1 week ago. And so if I put that one, for instance, on the drum loop. Okay, let's view this one here. I put it on the insert. Okay. Upper reverse. Okay. Should now work. So it is a bass playing, of course, that is done. In this case, the bass is Predator 2. I shut that down. So upper reverse, yeah, it's a new concept because it's bass it had in the upper reverb 2, where you could reverse the reverb tail, and I thought, yeah, why not expand this and make this a plugin which people can use to reverse the sound and use it in a creative way. And the YouTube video already has over 7,000 views, and all the creative producers are very happy with it because you can do some nice things to your track. For instance, if I would pick here this drum loop, as I put it on host start, so if I press play, it starts recording right away. Therefore, you need to start on the first bar. So here, let's see if we have it visible, by the way. It's not fully visible. Need to go a bit to the right, otherwise you guys cannot see it. Yeah, there it is, and then I need to keep it. Okay, so host start, and then you see down here I have this controller. I press here on the third bar, I start, and that you need to do with the host start. So, and then it starts recording right away, but you need to find the sweet spot for the so this is the original sound, and you can blend in the reverse one or use the mute. And of course you can edit it. You can here use the filter, modulate it. Okay, and I need to go back to the first bar. So now I did mangle the sound fully. Comp filter. So yeah, you can do some very cool stuff with it. So now I'm using it on this drum loop. Play it again. So now with the comp filter and some modulation by the LFO. Of course now I need to unmute it. So in your track you could use it on a given point. So you just play this track and then you record its mute as a parameter. But now it stops again. So for instance, if you have a track and it starts with this beat, you can put it in by adding the mute simply as a break or whatever. So and this offset here is to time it. Because if you reverse the sound, the whole rhythm part messes up. So you need to shift it again to find the sweet spot. So I check out the tutorial about it. It's 30 minutes, but it explains in good detail what you can do with it. And yeah, we have some in the future. Offshore are some new effects in our mind. What we update very soon, by the way, is RP delay. It will have then some fixes. It will have the 150% size version and a 200% size version for your view. And I will make a tutorial about RP delay because it's a very deep delay, and it's just like RP reverse. If you tell the story, it's easier to use for any producer. So that's planned. Echoplex emulator. I have no idea what the Echoplex is. I heard about it, but yeah, I'm not so good in emulating things. I rather think about new stuff, just like RP reverse. That's more my thing. And okay. Yeah, well, I would say check out the tutorial about RP reverse. Then you really can notice how you can use it on drums, percussion, but also on vocals or on sound effects. If you're doing maybe some audio video work, you can do it also using it for making some very special effects. Okay. Yeah, that's our task, to spoil you guys with nice new tools. So keep an eye. In the end of May it will pop up, but maybe ahead of that, maybe I'll do already a live stream about this new synthesizer which is gonna appear. But first we need to finish the graphics so that it looks cool, and then it will pop up. And definitely you will like it if you love some classic nice warm sounds. Okay guys, I would say thank you for watching. If all goes well, next week I will be back same time on YouTube with the live stream, and yeah, we'll see what we do next week then. And thank you for watching, and see you next time, guys.